Hello and welcome to another UCL fantasy video. Today we're looking ahead to match day 5 and we will be taking a look at my current team and plans going into the upcoming match day. As always, if you enjoy the video, please make sure to subscribe. We are very close to 1,000 subscribers, which we are trying to hit by the end of the year. So if you do enjoy this video, please make sure to do that and leave a like as well. But we are going to start off with our match day 4 team. You can see down the bottom of the screen I did use a Limitless chip, ended up with 90 points in the match day, which I was very happy with, and you can see just below me I'm sitting 10,000th in the world, which again is a massive boost since match day 3, where I was sitting 41,000th in the world. So the Limitless did boost me up massively. Looking at the match day, looking at my team, it's actually went fairly decently. Could have went a lot better though had I had played Saka. You can see he's last on the bench right now. I was in a bit of a 50-50 situation on whether I would play Musiala or if I would play Saka. And I did end up just going for the triple Bayern. Unfortunately, it didn't work with Musiala coming off at half time. And then Saka obviously ended up going and getting 14 points. But it is what it is. I still had a very good week, but it could have been a lot better. And I really would have been sitting about around the 1,000 mark, and would be in a very good spot going into match day 5. So just before we go and look at the upcoming match day, let's take a look at some of the fixtures. We do go into more detail on this over on the match day 5 guide, which I uploaded yesterday, so that will be linked at the end of the video, so make sure you go and watch that after this one if you haven't seen it already. We do look at some clean sheet odds and everything as well for the upcoming match day, so it's definitely one that is worth watching. But for the fixtures this week, we are looking at probably Arsenal would be a big game to target. I think Inter could still be a good one despite already being qualified. They could have a couple of decent players. Bayern, of course, with Copenhagen at home, you are going to want to try target them as much as possible. And I think even going for like the City players, the ones that you know aren't going to be rotation prone, I think could be a very good option. Of course, Barca as well have some great fixtures. However, they don't really have too many great fantasy assets. I think like someone like Lewandowski is probably a bit too expensive and you don't really know what you're getting with them. So I think you're really just going to be looking at the goalkeeper and Peña, with Ter Stegen out injured for this match day only, and maybe someone like Koundé or Cancelo really are the only options you can go for there. But there's a couple good fixtures that we can target. I think Real Sociedad have a very good fixture as well. And if you've been keeping up with these team selection videos, I do have the two cheap guys in Kuba and Baronetsia for the Real Sociedad attack. So it could be a very good match day for us. But let's take a look at the team. So this is the team before making any transfers. This is what I'm working with for match day 5. I think a couple of things that stand out would be Alphonso Davies. Obviously there is some rumours that he wants to join Real Madrid, and since that's really came out, he hasn't played the last 2 league games for Bayern, and I think even then as a 6 million defender he's really not been performing the kind of ways you would want from that kind of price of a defender. He's not really getting the attacking returns that you would expect, so I think 6 million are definitely as a transfer that I want to make, because even though I do want to target the Bayern game as much as possible, I can't guarantee that he's going to play, and I think I could do a lot better with the money elsewhere. Another one would be Henriks. Obviously with Man City away in match day 5, they do have a much better fixture in match day 6. However, I would prefer to have Rom for that fixture, so it might be one that I just transfer Henriks out this match day and then I can get Rom back in match day 6. Apart from that, I don't really think there's too many big problems with the team. I think Riznik and Sommer fairly happy with. There's not really any goalkeepers I think I'd replace with. Riznik obviously ended up with a clean sheet in match day 4, and hopefully we can get the same against Antwerp at home in match day 5. But as you can see with the bench, I do have the 2 Real Sociedad attackers. They are 2 cheap guys and are definitely going to be staying for match day 5. Whether it'll be the same in match day 6, I'm not too sure yet, but I think I'm more than happy to keep them. They are playing, not really getting the returns as much as you would expect, but again, they are really just cheap enablers to get the more expensive players in the squad. Denzel Dumfries is another one who could possibly come out. Inter do have the highest chance of a clean sheet this week. However, we don't know if Dumfries is going to play. Obviously, that they have qualified already through to the round of 16, and we have seen rotation with him so far in the Champions League, including the last match day. So we can't guarantee Dumfries is going to play. So if any news comes out in the next 24 hours or so, then he probably will be someone who comes out of the team. But everyone else, I think I'm more than happy with. Cancelo has been very, very good. He hasn't been picking up the attacking returns, but Barca have still been keeping up clean sheets, and he is still one of the highest scoring defenders in the game, despite not really being too explosive. Molina, again, probably someone I was considering taking out, but I feel like there's a lot worse players than him so far, and he has again still been picking up some decent points with clean sheets and a couple assists as well, so he will be staying in the team, I'm sure, for matchday 6. The midfield with Bellingham, Sané and Saka, I do think Sané does have some possible a decent chance of rotation with the likes of Gnabry on the bench, who could possibly come in for him, but I'm still going to have him in the team because it is too good a fixture that if he starts, he could definitely pick up a big haul. Bellingham and Saka, I think, two essential players, especially for matchday 5 and going into matchday 6, and Stengs is someone who I was considering possibly taking out, but right now there's not really too many midfielders for matchday 5 that I'm really interested in. It's probably a transfer I'll make in matchday 6 though, and I'll move Stengs onto someone like Galeno, who has a much better fixture in matchday 6. So that's something that I'm considering. However, Stengs has been fairly decent in the Champions League group stage, so that is something we don't really have to worry about for another couple of weeks. And then in attack, of course, Kane and Haaland, the two captaincies for matchday 5. It will be Haaland. It is on Kane right now, but Haaland will be the first captain, and then if he doesn't perform, then we do have Kane as the backup. So the transfer plans for this week, this is what we are looking at. I think everyone else in the team has potential to get points in matchday 5, and I think the two guys I've brought out here, Davies and Henrich, are probably two guys who could end up with 0 pointers. Davies obviously possibly couldn't play, and Henrich, I think, for matchday 5 against City away just probably isn't an option, even though he does play on the 28th, which is a problem I'm finding with this team. A lot of my players are playing on the Wednesday, and I've only, I think, got 5 players: Haaland, Stengs, Molina, Cancelo and Lewis as outfield players that play on Tuesday. So it is something that I might have to consider. Maybe I just play Henrich anyway, and then maybe Dumfries could come out instead. But I do want to wait on news for Dumfries because I don't want to have too many players. I don't want to have to make too many transfers just to get players playing on the Tuesday. But obviously you are going to want as many players on Tuesday as possible. But looking at the fixtures, I think Bayern and Sociedad and Saka just have very good fixtures. Inter as well, and they unfortunately do play on Wednesday, and sometimes that's just the way things work. So a couple of players might end up missing out, so I just need to make sure I do get the benchings correct this week. But Rico Lewis and Saliba, I do think, are two of the best defenders you can have for the final 2 game weeks. I think Arsenal look very solid defensively, and they have 2 good fixtures for the last couple. Saliba is nailed on as well, so I do think he does have some high points potential. Rico Lewis as well, when we're looking at rotation within Man City, he has played all the Champions League games so far, and he doesn't really play in the league, so I think he is very rotation prone when it comes to the Champions League, very safe when it comes to rotation prone, because I just think he's very likely to play the final 2 games, and at 4.6 million as well, he has a very good price as well. So I'm looking at that, and I think the only guys who probably are a bit rotation prone is someone like Leroy Sané and Dumfries, and I'm happy with just 2 players I think for matchday 5. For matchday 6, I'm looking at someone like Di Lorenzo. I'm looking at Galeno, I think would possibly be the 2 transfers, maybe Rom as well if the money isn't really there for someone like Di Lorenzo. But they are my 3 main transfers. I think the Sociedad guys are nails in my team basically until the round of 16. They are just too cheap, and they're working right now, so I don't want to be making 3-4 transfers and taking hits just so that I can afford more expensive strikers. So it was the route I took at the wild card, and it's going to just have to be the route that I stick with. But that is going to wrap up this week's team selection video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, make sure to go watch the Matchday 5 guide. It should be linked around here somewhere. And make sure you go watch that, because there's a lot of decent information if you're looking for some tips and stuff for your Matchday 5 transfers. But again, make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed the video. We are very, very close to 1,000, and I will see you all in the next video.